This podcast is proudly part of the Paranormality Radio Network. Visit paranormalityradio.com to find binge-worthy podcasts dedicated to all things paranormal and creepy. From conspiracy to cryptid, you'll find it here.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to I Have a Strange Story podcast. This is the podcast where two sisters retell people's strange stories and experiences. And this is episode 87. I'm Lindsey. Is it not 87? Don't
I think it's
pull
88.
this. Don't pull
I'm
this.
pretty sure this is 88. I wrote down
Really?
last time that we did episode 87.
Shit, you're right. It's episode 88.
Bitch. Yeah.
That's weird because usually I'm right. So it just feels a little weird right now, but it's okay. It's all right.
I'm not used to being wrong, so
I'm not.
I'm processing this right now.
I think that everyone should know I'm doing pretty well for being wrong. Oh my God. I swear to God, if my cat just unplugged anything. How can I tell if she did? Okay, she did not. Okay. Let's go.
We're
Let's
back.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any announcements? I think there is
Yes.
one announcement to talk about.
I have a couple of announcements for sure.
Okay.
So just to remind everybody that next month we will be donating all of our earnings to the National Black Justice Coalition. And so all earnings from our Anchor ad that we run, we get 1 cent off of that. So if you want to get involved and you want to help, share our episodes, listen to them again, just listen. That's it. That's the easiest way that you can do it. And for every time that we run that ad on an episode or you hear that ad, then we get 1 penny towards this. There's also
Tell your friends to listen.
Tell your friends to listen. Tell
your friends to listen.
conservative family members to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play it at work.
Real
on high
loud.
volume. Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
great. And then don't own up to it. Like if people hear it, just be like, I don't know who's listening to that. Yeah. Make it really weird. And so we're also going to be hosting a couple of other podcast episodes. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to those people who have agreed to donate episodes. So the first is I wanted to thank the ladies from None of This Is Real, Sarah and Damini. And they are so much fun. They talk about paranormal stuff. They talk about science things. And I fucking love this show so much. Like, I binge it and I listen to them every time that I take my dog for a walk, or every time that I was able to take my dog for a walk. And this is the type of podcast that you feel like you're involved, like you're buds or whatever. I feel like that's probably how our listeners feel about us. But that's how I feel about this podcast. Like, I talk to them like they're my friends. I'm like, girls, what's up? And they're like, oh man, it's that girl again.
Shut the fuck up.
So anyways, take a listen to None of This Is Real. I think you're going to like them a lot. They're very funny, very relatable. I also want to thank the Funny Book Forensics and Narrative Gunslingers for their episode donations. So Greg and Travis were on the show before. They're from the Narrative Gunslingers. And that's episode 79 if you want to take a listen to them. They're our friends. Thank you so much, you guys, for participating in this. And I'm just so happy that that people are jumping on board and helping us. Like, couldn't do this without you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then let's see. Oh, yeah. We're selling t-shirts. If you want to buy those t-shirts, get in contact with me or Lindsey. And you can do that through email, Facebook, Instagram, just any way that we can get a message and respond to you. Then let us know if you want one. They're $15 each. and they have artwork that I made on there and a little saying that I can't remember what it says, and it's a skinwalker. And yeah, all of the proceeds are going to go towards the National Black Justice Coalition. The other thing is I have put some stuff up on Redbubble if you want to look into that and purchase any of those items. It's stuff that I posted on Instagram a little while ago, so you saw some of the ideas that I had. I'll try to post up some other things on there. So like stickers are $1.25 or $1.50, and I feel like stickers are fun and everybody could use one. They also sell masks. So
also sell what?
Masks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so you can
cool.
keep yourself safe with some of our artwork, or keep other people safe, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's it. Lindsay?
No.
You just got your cat there.
Yeah, she almost jumped on the iPad. She almost stopped the recording.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's real great.
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. I guess the only thing that I have is that there's a possibility that maybe for August that we'll be taking a break from recording. Maybe it's our summer vacation. God damn it. It's our summer vacation. Slash we have too much going on and we need some time off.
I mean, I'm probably still going to be recording, to be honest with you.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. I just won't be there.
It's up in the air. As far as because you're going through a lot right now with work. And I know that next month we're doing this fundraiser, so I just will probably try to produce things here and there. Sometimes they might just be by myself. We're going to just play by ear to see if you can come on or not. Lily will be happy to fill in, is what it sounds like. She's got a lot to say. And back to you, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, send in your suggestions if you want. Send in your stories. I might do a couple of shorties because those are easy to do by yourself. And yeah, and I think that's it for all of the old announcements that I've got.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not that I can think of. I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, we're doing things a little bit differently today. And I was going to spring this on Lindsay. Yeah. But we've decided that
I know. And you did.
I know I did. But like just today, I was going to be like, and my story is. So, so I wanted to bring something up with you that I think is weird. I mean, not really weird, but it's just something that I have experienced with you before, and I don't know how to explain it. So maybe you can explain it, but I'll explain some things first.
Okay.
So what I'm talking about is it's just weird that this has happened at least twice in my life, maybe more, I can't remember. But there have been times whenever I've been upset in some form or fashion, and you know that I'm upset. And I don't, like, this past week, Lindsay and I have been through some things, and we've experienced something the same, and then we've also experienced different shitty things. And I had a moment, and I, like, was so fucking upset and just terrible. And I thought about it, like, after I finished this thing that I went through, I looked at my phone and I thought, I'll talk to Lindsay tomorrow about this because I can't talk to her. The next fucking second, you sent me a text message asking if I was okay. And I'm like, so I grilled my husband. I'm like, did you tell Lindsay? And he's like, no, I haven't talked to Lindsay. And I was like, fine. And then so I just let you know what was going on. And I even told you, I think, I wasn't going to tell you about this today. Like, I was going to tell you tomorrow. And then the same thing, this happened, I don't know when, this was at some other point in my life. You had reached out to me and asked if I was okay. And it was just like, there was no indications. I never reached out to you. There was nothing to build up to that point either to say, this is what I'm doing. I'll talk to you about it later. It's just always been this, you reaching out to me. And the thing is like, I'm pretty closed up with my feelings. Like, I talk to Lindsey about a lot of stuff. I mean, everything. I talk to Lindsey about everything. But I don't do it like, it's rare that I do it in the heat of the moment. It's typically afterwards or whatever. Sometimes I just need to process my feelings. So I wanted to talk to you about that. And I have questions.
Okay.
So, how do you, this is the first question. Like, how do you know? What happens?
I think for this latest of me reaching out and saying, are you okay? Like, honestly, I was in my room and I was walking out of my room and I remember just being like feeling this really strong feeling of Becky's not okay. Like, I swear. And so, cause we hadn't even texted that day. Yeah. I think it was the first text I sent was, are you okay? Yeah. But I just remember walking into my bedroom and just having this strong feeling that something was wrong. And so I just asked you if you were okay. Then you were like, well, no, I'm not okay. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was just a strong feeling that I got and I knew I needed to ask you. That's it.
That's like, so strange. Like what, what's the feeling? Is it a feeling of anxiousness or?
It was like, I told myself she's not okay. And it wasn't this like, she's sick or hurt or anything. I was like, something's upsetting. Like, she's upset is all I thought. Like, I don't know. That's all it was. But it seemed for me, God, Lily, Jesus, get your claws out of me. There was a cat in my lap that whole time. I think, I forget what we were saying. Either way, like it was just, I knew something emotionally, like that you were upset, but it just seemed very mundane for me. Like it was like, it wasn't like, oh my God. And there wasn't any anxiety. It was just like something, she's not okay. I need to ask her if she's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not mundane, but it was just normal, I guess.
Yeah. So it's not like you feel somebody else's pain. Like you don't feel like I'm upset, so somebody else must be upset.
No.
It's just something that pops in your head that you're like, I need to check on her. That is nuts. Do you do this with anybody else?
I sometimes do it with my friend, and we've talked about him a few times.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I do it with him, but he doesn't think it's weird. He's never been like, how'd you know? He's been like, no, I've had a bad day.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I think you were the main person that I do it with.
Okay. Oh, I feel so special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting to get some clarity about that. Before I started doing this, I grilled my husband. I was like, did you say anything to Lindsey? And he got to the point where he's like, dude, I did not say anything. I'm like, I don't want to do this unless if you said something to her.
Well, you see, I didn't even realize it because the next day, I text you again and I was like, hey, how are you this morning? And you were like, hey, how did you know? And I was like, because we spoke last night. Like, do you realize how confused I was that you were asking that? I was like, maybe she doesn't remember we talked.
I know. And that's funny because you even said that. You're like, remember we talked last night? And I was like, no. How did you know there was something wrong with me? And we went back and forth like in a circle. And I think that I had to explain it differently because I was not getting my question across correctly.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. So yeah, it's different, Lindsey. It's weird. Like I've never I think there's a couple of things that I did research on, and I want you to tell me kind of maybe which you feel more connected to. So I did some research on...
this is going to be fun. Yeah.
I'm
excited.
This is all about you. I knew you'd like this episode. It's going to be easy to do.
How funny.
I know. Look, I know you. I know you like to talk to you about yourself, and I think that's great. So,
wow.
so anyways. So I was wondering if you have ESP or a clairvoyance. And so I'm going to kind of go into some of these things.
Okay.
And there's another thing that I'm going to bring up too. That's neither of these things. So I'm going to talk about ESP, and that's extrasensory perception, or it is a sixth sense. And this is basically just how to explain it. Is that it's information not gained through the recognized senses. So it's sensed with the mind. In it, you know.
Okay.
And there's different types of ESP. There is telepathy.
Okay.
Telepathy. Sometimes we say like I just say things and it does not come out right. Clearly, I do that a lot. So telepathy is the ability to read another person's thoughts. Clairvoyance is the ability to see events or objects happening elsewhere. Precognition is the ability to see the future. Retrocognition is the ability to see into the past. Mediumship is being able to channel dead spirits. Psychometry is the ability to read information about a person or place by touching a physical object. So those are just the types of ESP. And to me, if any of these things were something that you could relate to, I feel like it would be clairvoyance or telepathy. Bum, bum, bum. So, all of these abilities are based on the idea that human beings can perceive things beyond the scope of the known bodily senses. Some say everyone has them. Some say only a few special people have them, or those who practice or hone the skills are able to use ESP. Yeah, one theory is that like ordinary senses, we perceive ESP energy like other senses in the form of electromagnetic waves, and these are undetectable. So being able to use science to prove this theory is difficult because there's no tangible evidence. To me, it's kind of like thinking, do pets or do animals dream? And I think that a lot of people believe that they do dream, but it is something that is hard to prove. Let's see. Oh, and there's no organs in your body that pick up on this sensory.
Okay.
So unless it's the brain, which is its own organ, and there's different functions in your brain. And I think that too is a little bit difficult to prove because I don't think that we know enough about the brain to some degree, you know? Yeah. Like really what areas pick up on what things. So in light of these problems, the prevailing theory among believers is that ESP is a result of something beyond our physical world. You're going to fucking love this. Some people believe that it's a... Oh, good, I can't read my handwriting. Some people believe that it is a slip from another reality. So in addition to the physical universe, we are consciously aware of, we all exist in another dimension that has completely different governing laws. Time and space operate very differently, and there's another reality allowing us to know each other's thoughts, distant events, or things that haven't happened yet in the physical reality. So normally our awareness of this plane of existence is completely unconscious, but every once in a while the conscious mind picks up on this info. So this theory is completely outside of our scientific understanding of the world. So it to me, it kind of does sound like dimensions kind of clashing. What is that? The Mandela effect or whatever. Whenever you're able to, not, I guess that doesn't really explain it that well, but just jumping
is it
from
the
one,
multidimensional universe?
yeah, like a multidimensional thing. That's not the Mandela.
Yeah.
It is. I guess the Mandela effect kind of ties into that because do you know what that is, Lindsay?
Mm-mm.
So it's about the most common way to explain it is things that we remember or think that we remember are untrue. So the Berenstain Bears. There's a lot of arguments about how the Berenstain Bears name was spelled. It's either like Bernstein or Berenstein or something like that. I know I'm getting it wrong. Same thing with like Curious George. Did he have a tail or did he not? The reason why they call it the Mandela effect is because people had, and it's not just like one person. It is groups of people. It's large groups of people that argue. Did God, what's his name? Mandela. What's his first name?
Nelson
Mandela. There was this idea that thousands of people thought that he died in a certain way, like before he was released from prison or whatever. They thought he died there, and then he didn't die there. He was alive and well, and he was released from prison and everything was fine. But the thing is like there's just this weird idea out there that he had died, and that's what people remembered. Same thing as the Berenstain Bears. It's spelled this way. No, in my childhood it was spelled this way. So there's a lot of argument. So it's just these weird things that we think that we remember, or that we're like, no, that was actually like this. Why is it like this today? So. So that's kind of, I don't know where I was going into that, but kind of that multi-dimensional theory in a way that whenever the Mandela effect, it's two dimensions colliding together, and some things we lose and some things we gain. Yeah. Okay. So Lindsay, you're slipping in and out of that world.
I like it. I think it's true. I think I am.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah, I think that you are. Totally. So that's one of the, so ESP and clairvoyance is one thing that I was going to get into, but this is another thing. And maybe this is something that you can relate to a little bit better, but it's intuition. And so intuition is a form of knowledge that appears in consciousness without obvious deliberation. I have the worst handwriting, and I love that I can't read it.
Yeah. I do too, and welcome to my world.
Okay, it's where hunches are generalized by unconscious mind rapidly sifting through past experience and cumulative knowledge, my word. And this is more of like a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these tend to arise holistically and quickly without awareness of underlying mental processing of the info. So this is, I guess, just a natural ability that I think that we all have, but I think that some people are better at listening to than others. So with all of this information, what do you feel like? What do you feel like you have?
I feel like, so I often get a lot of deja vu. Mm-hmm. And it's, where I'm reliving something that I already remembered or knew about or saw. And that's frequent. It's very frequent. And it would be for situations that I couldn't really predict. So like there were two that I had recently. So whenever I started this new job and I had gone into the office once before everything was going on, but whatevs. So I went in and there were people standing in my office and there was a discussion being had. And I was like, holy shit, this has already happened. And there was no way for me to know it was going to happen. There was no way for me to know who I was going to be working with, but it was the exact same situation I'd already been in. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. So I have those situations a lot. Mm-hmm. And there was one for a trip that I had gone on, where I went and visited, family. And I had another bout of deja vu, and there was no reason for me to have it because I was staying in a place that I'd never been before. But I'd recognized the kitchen and like the living area, and I was with my boyfriend at the time, and whenever you wouldn't have thought that I would have been in this place with my boyfriend at the time. Like it was all just a mess. There was no way for me to ever know that we were going to be in this location. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
But I had deja vu while I was there. I was like, shit, I've been here before and it's the exact same situation. And like, nobody would have thought that I would have been here. So yeah, it's usually situations like that. It's situational opportunities where I get in them and I'm like, holy fuck, I've already been through this. And I remember whenever I had a dream about it that I was like, that couldn't happen. That's so weird. I've never seen this place before is what I say in my dreams. And then I get there and I'm like, holy fuck, this is the place from my dream.
That's weird, Lindsey.
So like when after I have dreams, where it's pretty like memorable, or you know what I mean? Like I'll wake up and I'll remember the place, and it's places I've never seen or been. And even in my dream, I'll be like, well, isn't this weird, or isn't this strange? Like I recognize it in my dream.
Is it kind of like you're having, it's not like you're having deja vu in your dream, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, the deja vu is after the dream because I have the dream and then it happens.
Yeah, but still in your dream, you're like, this is weird.
Yes. In my dream, I recognize it's weird. And in my dream, I'll even say like, this isn't real, but I have to get through this.
Oh, wow.
And then it'll happen. And sometimes it'll happen months later or a year later or whatever. And I'll be like, holy fuck, this was my dream. Like I'll remember it.
So that is precognition in a way.
Right. It's not deja vu.
Yeah. So you are
right.
But yeah. So you're reliving something that you dreamed about.
Yes.
So that is different.
Yes.
That is.
But I've always called it deja vu is what I always say.
Yeah. It sounds like clairvoyance. Is that you're kind of seeing into the future. Like it's weird how these things work. Like, I mean, I guess not everything has to make sense or has to be like a definitive moment in your life, but like going to an office.
Yeah, it's not even anything that's a big event. It's mundane things that I get placed in and I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not even like I'm learning something new. Or groundbreaking. It's, I've been in this kitchen in my dream. You know what I mean?
That's so strange.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, do you think that, so this is a kind of a weird time theory. I can't remember who talks about this, but like time is going on right now. There's things happening in the future. There's things that are happening in the past, and it's all going on at the same time. Do you think, what do you think of that? And do you think that you feel like you might be affected by that?
Gosh, I don't know. You mean like everything happening at the same time in different dimensions at different times?
It can be different dimensions at different times, but also like on this planet, like things happened 1,000 years ago are still happening right now. It's just, it's kind of hard to wrap your around in it because we think of time as linear. It's linear for us. We don't have that option, but for space.
But it's like layers and layers and layers of things still happening.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. But I think that's where all of the like hauntings and all that stuff can come from too. Like if you watch videos of the Battle of Gettysburg and you record it, like you can see shapes of bodies doing the same thing over and over again, which we would call like a residual haunting, but it's probably the same thing happening over and over again, just a different time frame, but we're there while it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because my yesterday self is still there preparing for this podcast, and my future self, has already posted this podcast, but we're all doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
So weird. You're in touch.
Yeah,
with
it's
that.
cool. Yeah.
You're getting messages from your future self, like you're going somewhere.
Yeah,
They're
real
gonna
boring
have this
shit.
conversation.
You're gonna be in this office building.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Weird. But then in that sense, you're sending that back to your past. I shouldn't even say past self because it's your past self's present.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, we say that it's things that are mundane and don't really matter, but it really is giving me a glimpse into the future, honestly.
Yeah.
Because whenever I have some of these, you know, when you may have a dream about something happening and then your life changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would like, well, that would never happen because I'm not going that route. But then you end up fucking going that route anyways. And that shit ends up happening anyways. Like,
Ooh,
it's just
yeah.
kind of weird. You know what I mean? And I think for those two dreams that I talked about as an example, there were things that happened in between. So I never would have thought that I would have been there in that place in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what makes it different too.
Mm-hmm. That just makes me kind of think about, like, are we all predestined for something, or do we really have free will?
I struggle with that. I struggle with us creating our own reality, but I also struggle with fate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a religious or spiritual person whatsoever, but
Yeah.
I think about those things often that, and I don't ever say to people, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Because I think that that can be very hurtful to some people and it doesn't really help. It's not helpful. It's not a helpful thing to say, but I think of all the layers of everything happening and like the time frame or the what is it called, the trajectory that it sets you on. And if you do something different, it's going to put you on a different, you know, trajectory. So for everything to align and for you to make all these decisions to go one certain route, like, is it predestined or did you do it yourself? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll never know. Right? Like, there's absolutely
I struggle
no
with
way.
it.
Yeah.
I like to think that it's like fate. It's just the little part inside of me that would like something like that to happen, but the logical part of me is like, nah, we choose and we impact it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, I hate that too. Everything happens for a reason. I don't believe that, that either. But I don't know where I was going with this. I think I just wanted to say that. Wow, we got really deep here. That does, I mean, it does kind of, I don't really subscribe to this feeling or to this theory either, but this kind of takes us down that path of multidimensional worlds where, and everybody gets it wrong. I think that it's called string theory, but I think a lot of people think of it like your decision impacts one route in life, and so the decision that you didn't make goes off onto another path.
Yeah.
And so it's a multiverse thing. So we're just creating all these fucking universes and all these decisions. And to me, it's a very egotistical way of looking at human beings. But then also that makes me believe that we don't have set certain paths. We have options. But those options, you know, are only provided if there's a decision that we didn't make. It's kind of a mind fuck going back and forth and thinking about all that.
Yeah. There's a scene in I Heart Huckabees. I don't know who has or has not seen it, but there's a scene in it where Dustin Hoffman holds up a tapestry and he says that we're all in this tapestry and we all impact each other, and he's holding it up and he's saying there's a war over here, there's a baby smiling over here, but it's all one tapestry and we're all tied together and everything we do like impacts each other. And it's kind of related, but I think that that's a really good scene to also kind of break down the universe and how we're all connected and one thing impacts another thing. I don't know. It's a good scene. Maybe if we could, are we allowed to pull it and show stuff? I doubt it. Are we? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We
Anyways,
we
check
can't
it
play
out.
Stuff like that either. So anyways, go ahead.
Okay, check it out. Yes, it's a good scene where Dustin Hoffman is explaining it to Jason Schwartzman, who's having an existential crisis.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah, I know. It's really cute.
I kind of feel like that guy always probably has a lot of existential crises. I don't know.
It's
Maybe
his life.
He's just really chill.
Yeah.
in real life. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Cool. So even with all of this, like this would be a cool way to understand clairvoyancy or to understand ESP or something. It's not a quality that one person has as far as their mind being able to see into the future without a I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but without a timeline. So the way that we're thinking is that if everything's happening all at once, all at the same time, and you're receiving messages from yourself, essentially, because you have already experienced that in a way, that is a way to explain clairvoyancy and ESP as not a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
But then, of course, this multiverse theory kind of is supernatural.
It is, right? I think that it is. It's still science fiction to say that there's different dimensions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's still considered like a fucking genre.
Right. Exactly. Isn't
It's
that
weird?
Yeah. It's just how paranormal and normal can be
like
the same. It's just something that we haven't been able to discover yet. We haven't been able to explain yet.
There's so much that we can't. Like, even like thinking about space, and like I recently watched something on the Challenger, and the Challenger didn't have people in it, right?
I can't.
The
remember.
Challenger was just a camera, basically, that went by, and there was two of them, and they went off, and they went and they got pictures of the different planets. Well, one of them has exited our universe, and it's interstellar right now.
Yeah,
it's in between stars.
Wow.
Like it's this space where there's nothing.
Yeah.
And like, where the fuck is it going to go? Where does it go? We don't know. We have no fucking idea. We have no idea what could pick it up. And you know, it has a record on there that has like pictures and all this shit on it for whoever finds it whenever they find it. And it's suspected that whoever finds it in a different universe, the Earth will be gone. It'll be gone by the time that it's found, but they're going to find this thing, and like, but we don't know that it could go into like, it's in between the stars.
Yeah.
Like, and that was probably science fiction. How long ago? How long ago was it science fiction that we said there were other universes?
Right.
And that we, in a black hole too.
Right.
Like, black holes are real. Like, it's crazy to think of it that way. It's fucking, that thing is in between the stars.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. You bring up some really good points. All of this was science fiction, fantasy, until we were able to do it, to put the work into it. And I don't think that there's a lot of research that goes into paranormal activity because they're like, it's just dumb. You know,
people think it's silly.
People do think it's silly, and instead of scientifically dissecting it and trying to figure stuff out, they spend other things. And I'm not saying like this is something that warrants a lot of research right now. I think that our time and money can be put to other use, you know, and without getting into things that might upset people. But it would be nice if I think that it would explain a lot in the universe and in reality, or our perceived reality.
Yes. I think that's a great way to say it, is our perceived reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't know.
We don't know shit. There was a really good episode on, I think it's The Truth. It's a podcast, and it's a fictional podcast, but it's exactly where somebody found that record. It went to another planet, and they played it, and it was their perception of what human beings were, and it was really cool. It was just like, because we don't put anything terrible probably on that record. We're like, humankind is great, and we're all about brotherhood and all this bullshit, and they listened to it, and they were just like, wow, we could really learn something from this species. They were like,
oh jeez.
But you know, here's the thing, is that somebody finds that humanity's going to be gone. If humanity can teach other civilizations the best part of humanity, then maybe you can take that, and learn something. And I don't think that's being deceitful. You always want to put out your best. You don't, you always want to say, we're kind to each other, we love each other, and we expect other races, species to do the same thing, and here's what you can learn from us. And if that's what they learn, if they learn the best of humans, then I think that's great.
Jeez. Okay.
Or they could learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, they could definitely learn from our mistakes. I'm just trying to think of what we've done that's good. I'm just kidding.
It's all, the thing that we perceive is what we've done good with humanity is what we've done, it comes back to that, like, what is good and what is wrong. So we can only perceive it as, like, we helped, feed homeless people. And instead of, like, trying to explain why there's homeless people, or we saved this species, and it's like, okay, well, why did the species need saving in the first place? We're not going to put in there because we don't care about mental health for Americans, and so they end up on the street, and we put drug users in jail instead of helping them. But the good part of us, the people who are trying to be kind, are these people who are feeding the homeless, or these people who care about a species that was almost poached and killed into extinction. We're trying to guard it and safeguard it. Save it. I don't know why that was such a hard word to get out. Jesus. But yeah, the reasons why that led up to that is because also humans are assholes and just tried to kill it because it had a cool pattern on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a mind fuck.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
This whole episode. Yeah. So, I don't know, Lindsay, do you have anything else that you want to talk about? Clairvoyance? Telepathy?
No, I mean, the only other piece, and I don't know how it relates to it, is my possible experiences with something else like happening. I think the one thing that sticks out the most for me was it last summer that there was a glass of water that was dumped out on the floor, and my cat came running out, and the glass wasn't near the edge of the counter. The glass was on its side, but it was in the middle of the counter, but it was a full glass of water, and the water was all over the floor, and there was no water dripping down from the counter. It was nothing like that. I have no idea how it happened. It freaked my cat out. The water spilled out, and I heard it, and it sounded like somebody was holding it up, right? And I think that's probably the weirdest experience I've ever had in thinking about how does all of this fold in. Is it another dimension, and that had happened at another dimension that my experience got pulled into it somehow.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or was it some type of poltergeist? And then we say, well, what's really a poltergeist? Is it somebody, you know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe it's too much actually for the end of the show, but that's the only other thing I can think of in regards to like my possible senses. Oh no.
I mean, you have, and I don't mean to make this sound weird. I think you've mentioned it in the show before, but you hear people calling your name. And excuse me, I just burped. Sorry. And you experienced this whenever you were a kid, and you experienced this whenever you were an adult, and you hear your name being called by different people. And that kind of is like, well, are you hearing that from another timeline maybe too, or another possible universe? Something is coming through,
right?
Like, and in a way, you are special because not everybody. I know, because not everybody. She's loving this. Pick up on messages like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't prove anything. Nobody can prove anything about anything. That's not concrete like certain things are. And then we get into this whole discussion like we almost brought up last time about everything is made up.
Yes. It's all a social construct.
It is. Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit in our social construct, then we hate it. So the whole thing about dimensions, and I mean, I think dimensions have been proven. I think it's proven that there are other dimensions, but the possibility of them interacting and all that shit, like, it's too crazy. We can't go there. But we created it. I mean, we created this stupid world that we live in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Clothes have no meaning. Haircuts have no meaning. It's just such a sham.
I'm just going to say it. Yeah, like, gender has no meaning. We gave us all we gave all these identities to ourselves, and somebody wrote down somewhere that this is what a woman is supposed to be and this is what a man is supposed to be, and there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
And one or the other,
crazy.
or less it's or it's nothing.
Right.
And you need
it
to
doesn't make
decide.
any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I wish that people were as woke as us sometimes.
I know. Hashtag woke. Woke AF.
Oh, we're bringing it back. We were saying it. Remember, we said it all the time in our first couple of episodes. We're like, we're woke. And I still don't think we're using that term correctly, but whatever. We're just going to say it. So
I think the kids would say we are. Shout out to those kids, to the Generation Zs.
Yeah, shout out to Z.
Yeah. You guys are doing a good job.
Good.
What is it? All the TikToks are showing it as the millennials being like, fuck. And the boomers being, I said boomers. And the older generations who are referred to as boomers, they aren't really as accepting or supportive. Yeah. Aren't really accepting or supportive and all those things. And that we've been waiting years for Generation Z to come around because they're going to be able to vote. And they're those crazy kids going out there who are picking up shit and throwing it back at the cops.
Yeah.
They're doing a good
really
job.
Tall guy.
I'm really proud of all of them.
Yeah, we're pretty
good
proud
job, guys.
Pretty proud of you, Z guys.
We have nothing to do with it. Nothing. Yeah. We didn't do anything. We've just been we've been like,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of talk about millennials, and it's like, you're probably not using that term correctly.
People have given us a lot of shit. Like, they really have. But it's, I mean, the biggest complaint is like, well, y'all expect just to be handed good paying jobs. And we're like, yeah, we do. We expect to be treated right. And we want time off, and we want good paying jobs, and we don't want to work for shit. Like, you know, like the qualifications are like, we want you to have a master's degree and 10 years of experience and be a supervisor, and we're going to pay you $12 an hour. Like, fuck you. No.
Yeah. Or we're going to,
it's crazy.
You can get an internship and work here and gain experience and work, but we're not going to pay you anything. And that's
exactly.
dumb.
It's crazy.
You can't make a living on experience. You can't pay to live anywhere on experience.
No.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. It's just nuts. So we're happy that Generation Z is coming along with us now. Listen, we're going to make this world a better place.
TikTok is the best thing that's happening right now.
I know.
It's saved my marriage. We were never in turmoil. But it is something that we've bonded over. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty good. It's really good for whenever you're trying to go to sleep. And keep you up a few more hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you spend 4 hours on the couch. Like, the first couple of weeks in quarantine, it's like, well, I'll just watch TikTok. And it also makes you feel like there's really good people out there because they can fucking dance.
Yeah, they can dance.
And they come up with silly things, and they just make you happy. Yeah.
What basically comes up on my TikTok feed is workout stuff. Gay men, lesbians, and the all the riots and the not riots, the
protests,
peaceful protests right now. And then, you know, the police and their actions that they take, all that stuff. That's all that comes up in my feed.
All I get is stuff from you and my husband because I don't go on and look at anything on my own.
We just sent it to you.
Yeah, you just sent. So I don't even have to like search for anything. But yeah, my favorites are like fat animals, and then people dancing. And so there, there's the weekend dance that everybody was doing.
Oh man, I missed that.
But now, like, I just watch professional dancers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're
That's
amazing.
fun.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Yeah, I think I watch a lot of CrossFit people who are in really good shape, and I'm like, oh,
damn, are you just waving ropes around? Because I can do that.
Yeah. I'm like, I can do all of this.
Yeah.
And then I run for half a mile, and I'm like, I can't. I can't go anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I knew we could make a show out of this.
Yep, we did it.
Well, thank you for answering all these questions. This
You're
has
welcome.
fascinated me for a while, and I'm glad we're on the same page when I asked you, how did you know? And now you know that I know. And that's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
If you would like for us to read one of your stories, or for Rebecca to read it for the month that I may possibly be gone, you can send that to ihaveastrangedstorypodcast@gmail.com, and the show will be happy to go on with your story.
Yeah, and subscribe, rate, and review us. Share us, please. Share an episode, and if that person likes it and they listen to it, we'll get 1 cent to donate it, to the National Black Justice Coalition. And review us. If you do give us a review, please give us a nice one, and take a snapshot of it, send it to our email address with your mailing address, and we'll mail you some stickers. And if you have any stories at all, you guys, it doesn't matter the length, the subject, or whatever, we'll take it. If you have, and I was just thinking about this, like, anything in the paranormal realm, if you have a past life regression that you would like to talk about, I would love to hear about that, because that is fascinating. If you have a near-death experience, if you've seen a ghost, a shadow man, if you've seen Bigfoot, if you've seen a unicorn, send it our way. No story is too small.
Yeah.
We'll have
I've
fun
been
with it.
trying to find stories about dinosaurs in like Indonesia or Papua New Guinea. If you've had an experience where you've seen one of the dinosaurs, let us know.
Yeah, we want to hear about that. And if you have, I'm totally jealous, because like that's where I would go if I had a time machine. Definitely.
Yeah,
go see the
dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, well, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. I guess until next time.
Bye.
Bye. I was going to say goodbye.
Oh, or goodbye.
Goodbye.
Just like a Ouija board.